Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Lehman. It's magical that I can be across the hall and teaching you an ELA class at the same time. Anyway, today you're going to spend your ELA class period doing some math review. We have Math Wizardathon coming up the week after break. So one of the main things you've heard me say in class is that you guys know how to do ratios, rates, and proportions. So that's what I'm going to focus on right now. So some of the key words when you're dealing with ratios, rates, and proportions, and you'll see them on the problems that you're going to be doing after this video. Unit rate, per, and for every. These are all signals that you are going to use a ratio and or a proportion. That was our ratio alert button, if you remember that from September. Okay, so here's an example. We're going to go through a few examples so that you know what you're doing when you work on your own. So if Jake needed 16 eggs in order to make 4 omelets, how many eggs would he need for 2 omelets? So key info in this problem, you need 16 eggs to make 4 omelets. And then our question is, how many eggs would he need for 2 omelets? So you always start with what you know. So line equals line is how you do a proportion. When you're doing your work on these problems, I expect that you are doing line equals line, okay? So you start with the info you've been given. So in this case, 16 eggs for every 4 omelets. All right, and you'll notice that I labeled these numbers, right? So that's very important for you to do because it helps you stay organized. So now I know that I need to figure out how many eggs. So eggs is our missing piece that goes on top, and 2 omelets. So essentially what you're doing is you are scaling this 4 down to 2 because you're making half the amount. You're dividing this by 2, and if we do that to this divided by 2, we know we are only going to need 8 eggs. So your answer for that one would be 8 eggs. All right, the next one, it says a ballet studio charges $50 for 2 classes. How much would 3 classes cost? So, a ballet studio charges $50 for 2 classes. So, again, line equals line. You're going to go back up into the problem, and right here, they gave us some of our info. So it says $50 for 2 classes, or for every 2 classes. Right, and we want to find out 3 classes. So we are missing how much money that would cost. So you look at this and you try to make this connection from the completed side over here on the left to the incomplete side. And to get from 2 to 3, well, that can't work really well. So what we need to do is simplify this fraction. Remember the quote, if you can't divide or multiply, you must simplify. And that was taught to you guys by Mr. Mattingly early in the year. So we have to simplify this fraction. If it's $50 for 2 classes, that means it's $25 for every 1 class. All right? So if I look from 1 to 3, you multiply that by 3. 25 times 3 is $75. So you pretty much have to figure out that it's $25 for 1 class, and then if you're going to take 3 of those, you've got to scale it up to $75. All right, the next question. A train traveled 258 kilometers in 3 hours. How far does a train travel in 1 hour? It's looking for the unit rate. When it asks for 1 hour or unit rate, that means for every 1. Okay, so let's see, 258 kilometers for every 3 hours traveled. So we want to figure out 1 hour. Now again, notice these both go on the bottom there. Undo that. And on the top we have 258 kilometers. So to get from 3 to 1 hour, you have to divide by 3. And then we're going to take 258 and divide by 3. Because if we do the same thing to the top that we do the bottom, that does not change our values at all. So we're going to divide that by 3. 3 goes into 2, 0 times. It goes into 25 8 times. It gives you 24. You subtract, you get 1. You bring down the 8. That gives you 86. So that means that this train is traveling 86 kilometers per hour for every hour. So they didn't want you to then use that info to scale it up at all, so you're going to say 86 kilometers is your answer. All right, I think we have one more. All right, last one before you start off on your own. It says a florist used 600 flowers, that's important, to make 30 bouquets. How many flowers would it take to make 50 bouquets? So we're looking for the number of flowers for 50 bouquets. So again, line equals line. In this case, I'm going to put flowers on the top portion as a numerator. So 600 flowers. I'm going to use F for flowers. And that will make 30 bouquets. All right. Let's see. And then it says, how many flowers would it take to make 50 bouquets? So we need to scale that up. It's going to be more than 600, right? Because we have more bouquets we need to make. So if you look for the connection here, you'll notice that doesn't work out. So we need to simplify this. So you can easily take the zeros off the end, and that gives you 60 to 3, which still doesn't scale up. So 3 and 60 both have a common factor of 3. So 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 60 20 times. So that means each bouquet is going to have 20 flowers, or 20 flowers for every one bouquet. So 1 times 50 will give you 50. 20 times 50 is 1,000. So the answer would be 1,000 flowers. All right, any questions? I guess I really can't answer them. So you guys remember, line equals line. Keep things that are the same as the numerator. The other quantity put as your denominator. And then look for the connection between sides to scale it up or scale it down, either through multiplication or division. And then you can get started. Your work will be graded. Let's see. Well, I'll go over this first. It says go to Google Classroom, your math class. You should have your codes. Or maybe a few of you that have not been part of the classroom yet. There's a few newer students. So I will leave those with the substitute to give to you, so you can add yourself to the class. And in there you will find an assignment called Unit Rate / Proportions Review. So that same skill is applicable to all of the questions that you're going to do. You have 9 questions in there. You are going to need to show all of your work on a separate sheet of paper. So for everyone, I should see line equals line. I should see any simplifying you do, and I should see these arrows with what you're multiplying or dividing with for both the top and bottom. Okay, and then you're going to submit that online, and your papers will be collected by the substitute, and you will get a grade not only for your answers that you submitted on Google Classroom, but you will also get a grade for your work. So make sure you are showing your work. All right. Thank you guys. Do your best. I know you guys can do this without much of a problem, so just work through it. Have a great day. Bye.